Currently I'm back in Monroe, Georgia, and now this engine looks familiar. That's because it is. I'm here where Power Rail Services stores the locomotives they're working on. There's engine 220, and then there's this unit here that they've gone and I guess they're currently rebuilding, engine 56, 51. And then there's two Jeeps here. I don't know if they're GP16s or what, but I don't really remember. 1814, 78, 89, and then there's a slew of wide cab -8s here. I'm curious about this because, well, yeah. I'm just curious because I don't know where what short line these two units came off of, because, well, they're Jeeps and they don't look like they're from the Athens line or the Hartwell, but you can see there's just nothing but a long line of -8 locomotives here. I think they're leased units. I'm curious. I don't think they'll get mad at me because, I mean, these things, I'd imagine, are drained of fuel so they can't move. Those two I know for a fact won't move because they've taken the engines out and that one doesn't even have a fuel tank. Well, either way, I'm not going to get on them. But it is interesting seeing these. It is interesting though seeing two units that were most likely built in the early 50s or 60s, and then having units that were built in like the late 90s parked right there in front of them. You've got essentially a sort of evolution line of early diesel power. Here you've got second generation, first generation, or I guess the later first generation, and you've got the most recent generation to be retired or rebuilt in this case. You can see that's GE built. You can see these units were used often because the seats are, well, as you can tell, used. And of course, here's the -8s that they've got parked here. Yeah, so I think the CEFX units, I think those are, yeah, these are all units that would have been leased to like the Class 1s or Class 2s that are getting them. I'm curious because, I mean, the door's open on just that one, and if they've got and since these are shut down, and since even though I'm into trains, I have no idea how these work. I don't know. I mean, I'm very tempted. Oh, RailServe. So that's the ones that used these. Okay. Well, you know what? I mean, the door's open, but I'm not going to do it. But you can see how the air hoses are connected here, though. Of course, you can see how they have the couplers hooked together, and those up there so you can walk in between units. And then, of course, you'd have, I think, power cables here. You've got brake lines, which those would be connected together. Then you connect the electrical cables together. Then you'd have multiple unit control, meaning if you wanted to run, say, these two units together, you'd have that capability. You know what? All they can really do is tell me to leave, really. And besides, I mean, the door is open, so If anything, if I'm done with this, I'm going to make sure that's closed. So let me, you know what? I'm going to just peek in, and I'm not going to walk in the cab, but I'll just peek in through the open doorway, and then I'll close that door so that they don't have to worry about people coming in who are less sentiment about railroads than I am coming in. And I'm talking about vandals. I'm not here to destroy this thing. I just want to make sure they don't lose this. Yeah, as you can see, I think they salvaged. Oh yeah, they salvaged what they could out of this. Okay, so I'm just gonna close this. Oh, I think I see why the door won't close now. It can't. The hinge piece is there, so it can't close. Yeah. All right. Now there's 1814. All right. I'm most likely gonna get in trouble for that, but at least they don't have to worry about the inside of the cab rotting out. I mean, I doubt that's gonna really help much, but I was hoping I could get the door closed, but it won't close. So I think I see why they need to get that in and fixed. I'm curious. They've got an antenna there. So I wonder if that's radio controlled. I doubt it, but it might be. You can see where they've been doing work on this. So they just assembled this truck and they've worked on it. So because the washers are new, so that's good. And I think that there is a compressor that takes out the humidity from the air. I could be wrong. No way to tell the fuel level because there is no gauge needle. I had to guess it's empty. And I know this has been here, still been here for a while because, well, there's plants growing where the engine would be. So I think this engine's going to most likely go to the scrapper since there's, I mean, the roof is rotted out in the cab. So I'm sure there's plenty of holes in the floor to go with it. Yeah, you can see how badly rusted it is. So I can already tell you this thing is most likely going to go to the breakers. This obviously has a lot more life out of it, so they're just rebuilding it. But 220, yeah, that thing is not going to be around for much longer. It's most likely going to be going to a scrap yard afterwards. So I think this would be considered like a deadline, so to speak, where they just have the locomotives parked. I mean, either way, that's my guess. Yeah, and I'm going to get some pictures while I can. So I'll end the video here and I'll see y'all later. I can see this hasn't been used in forever. What the? It's a plane. I'm not going in because spiders. So, but you can see the cab controls of this engine here, which is nice. You can see that's where the door latches. So here we go. Now these are all so you can open this up and check the actual diesel engine, generator, and alternator, which I'm not going to do. So I think this is where the alternator would be. I had to guess because of the, or air intakes one, I don't remember. See, this is what happens when I don't read any of the books I've got on trains. I lose that knowledge or forget it. But always use the grab irons. Basically, don't be stupid. Bethlehem steel manufactured switch here. I've seen these in Hartwell and Athens and all over the place. I'm curious about these Dash 8s. I've never been in the cab of one, but I don't know. Well, I don't know. I'll have to just see, because I mean, you never know. Because I know these things have cameras in them, but I'd imagine, I don't know if they're working still. This is the most modern locomotive I've seen essentially laid up. It's always interesting standing beside these things, seeing how huge they are compared to you. I can see they've been here for a few months because spiders have taken refuge in the net in these things. I'm gonna walk on this side of the tracks. Oh. Damn shrubbery. Oh well, I'll live. Yeah, so why are they... Why do they have these laid up, though? I'm curious, because, I mean, these Dash 8s have a hell of a lot of life left in them. So, I'm guessing they're probably going to be rebuilt. And as you can see by this one, it's got a half a tank of fuel, so I can tell you that they're not going to retire these. They're going to just rebuild them to whatever specifications are needed. Here's the bell. Of course, there's electric, there's an electric trigger because there's the part that rings it. There should be a button. If I'm not mistaken, there's a button in the cab concerning that. And this is the first time I've actually gotten to see these types of locomotives up close. This specific type of diesel, because I've seen plenty of the older ones in preservation and on short lines nearby, but this is the first time I've seen these Dash 8s or whatever specification, or excuse me, yeah, these AC 4400s. That's what these are, because I just noticed the classification markings. But yeah, this is the first time I've actually seen these up close, and I know there's at least 2 Dash 8s that have been given to museums. I knew an SD40 was given to the museum in Duluth. Oh well, 1011, what do you know? Cicada, I think, either that or air leaking out, I don't know. So this must have been given to some railroad company, because there's lettering for one there. That's interesting. Makes you wonder what short line got these. Before you ask, I'm not getting in the cabs of these. Like, I might look through the small window there, but that's about it. I'm not going to go in. Besides, I have no doubt they keep the doors on these locked tight. But now, here's something interesting. You've got right here, that's if you have a broken coupler knuckle. You can replace that. And the reason there's chain alongside these is if, say, a car got damaged or lost an entire coupling assembly, the train crew could hook those up to whatever train car needs to be moved, and they can move it slowly with the engine to, I guess a siding or something. So so that the car could either be picked up or repaired. You've got the running lights underneath. I think that's what those are, running lights underneath. You've got hydraulics there. First time I've seen that on these. Oh, now. I guess it's now or never, so all they can do is tell me to leave. Watch your step, absolutely. Take note, I'm using the grab irons for a reason. I mean, they're not put here for looks. They're put here so you don't get hurt. You can see just how narrow of a walkway these are. And it's interesting because I've seen trains that use these often. A lot of my videos show them. So this is the first time I've seen these things up close. I see a resident arachnid has taken residence here. But that's what the inside of the cab looks like. Not as up to date and modern as you can get. Alright then. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the doors on these are locked. And I'm glad they are, because sure, all I'm doing is looking. I'm not taking anything, I'm looking. There's a big difference. Unfortunately, there are people out there who are absolute pieces of crap and they steal stuff. So, that is really, it's unfortunate, but sadly it's a common thing. So they have to be cautious about this. I mean, to be honest, if I went up there and asked them if I could look around, they probably would say yes, as long as they had someone who works over here, you know, keeping an eye on everything, which I can understand and sympathize with, but I mean, you just don't know. I'm not a vandal, I'm not a thief, I'm not taking anything, and I don't want to destroy this stuff. Heck, this here is what I'm interested in. It's what I'm passionate about. And I wish the guys who are rebuilding these engines down here luck. I don't like seeing equipment like this laid up. Because these ACs have a lot of life left in them. They may not have anything interesting like these older units, but they've got a lot of life left in them. I mean, really, even these two units, these old Jeeps, I'm sure have at least a few more years of usefulness left in them until they get like the N220 up there, which would have to go to the scrapper. But I mean, you just never know. And let me wipe the camera lens off. So, you know what? Oh well, I already showed 1814's cabin. It's identical to that one, so I'm curious about this unit up here, the green one. Because I've already seen engine 220. I've seen it. I've had my yearbook pictures taken on board it, so even after this thing's cut up, it'll be around. It will be around. I can understand why they haven't repaired it, because I mean, look at this. The thing's probably 50 years old, and I can already look at it myself, and even I can tell this thing, it doesn't have any working life left. So I mean, if you got like plants growing through the actual locomotive frame, that says something. Now this, you can tell, has a lot more life left in it. Watch your step, absolutely. I'm just curious, because I know this one isn't going anywhere. They took the fuel tank off. And I think the main tank right there is, I think, the compressed air chamber. which stores the air they'd need for the brakes, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what that is. This is interesting because since you don't have the fuel tank here, you can actually see what they have to do to put all this together up close. This is underneath the actual trucks here. You can see all the motors and whatnot. The fuel tank would be mounted here, and I can tell you from the length, it would end up holding a good amount of fuel. So you could use this for like switching, or just say local freights, if anything. I don't know what air pressure they'd have. Ma'am, you can look all you want. I'm not taking anything. That's the one thing I hate about my generation is most of the people in it who do cause trouble are given the whole caboodle, as it's called, a bad rap. I'm not here to take anything off these engines. I'm not here to cut them up. I'm here to film them and to photograph them. That's all I'm doing right now, is I want to just film these things, because only when they're in stuff like this am I able to actually look at them up close in detail, which is what I like. Oh. I think one of the maintenance guys lost one of their pins. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I'm not climbing on this, buddy. Sir. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, you can have this thing. This is all yours. So, I think I'll see y'all later.